knowing why you exist or what your purpose is. Not knowing indefinitely is that if you don't know, then you can choose what is important to you and define your own purpose for yourself. If I don't know, I can choose what's important to me and I can define my own purpose for myself. Another similar thing is not knowing is a freedom to think, freedom to not know, freedom to guess. And I think that this is truly a beautiful thing that many don't often think about. By not knowing, we have a huge freedom, a huge, not quite burden or responsibility, but opportunity to seize within our mind the greatest, all-encompassing reason for our own existence. We can decide it based off of everything we've ever experienced and everything we know. We get to decide because there is no indefinite, objective, written, or interpretable reason as to why we exist. And I think that truly is a beautiful thing. Another reason that's positive, another positive method of thinking about not knowing why you exist indefinitely is that you can try and figure it out. By not knowing, you have a purpose of trying to figure it out. You can spend your life, or you can devote your purpose to finding out what your personal purpose is, or even the general purpose of man, if you think it's continuous between all human beings. Now, some negative perspectives on not knowing why you exist or your purpose are that if there's no way to know if I am fulfilling my purpose, why should I try? If there's no way of knowing I'm doing it right, why should I bother? It is logical. Another method of thinking that's negative is that I don't want to guess my purpose in case I get it wrong. I don't want to start pursuing one purpose in case it's wrong. So why should I start guessing? Also a logical observation. And what if there is no purpose? What is the point if I don't know what my purpose is? What's the point of trying to discover if I don't know indefinitely? If I don't have an objective answer for my own purpose, how can I justify deciding my own purpose? Also, I would respect that thought. So now I'm going to go through all these branches, and I'm going to be talking about the sort of positive or negative associations and eventual thoughts that would come from these different circled methods of thinking about why you're not sure why you're here, your purpose. So some positive that we mentioned earlier, I did. Freedom, I can try to figure it out. If I don't know, I can choose what's important to me and define my own purpose. These ways of thinking generally lead to positive thought. They generally lead to feelings of freedom, of motivation, of happiness. You're motivated to figure out your own purpose or search for a purpose. You're motivated by the feelings of freedom that allow you to explore, or allow you to justify whatever you've chosen, whatever intrinsic ideas you formed. However, negative, the more negative described thoughts often lead So negative describe thoughts like, I don't want to guess my purpose in case I get it wrong, or what if there is no purpose? What is the point if I don't know? There's no way to know if I am fulfilling my purpose. Why should I try? These are generally associated with feelings of sadness, low motivation, depression, a lack of fulfillment. You generally don't enjoy many of the intrinsic experiences, like you find less meaning in your relationships with others, in altruistic actions. Meaning is often depleted with these, and I'm not saying that these are necessarily negative, but they generally lead to negative thinking and negative outlooks on life, and negative outlooks in every aspect of life. They generally lead. It doesn't mean I'm not stating objectively these are the negative ones and those are the positive ones, but generally, as I described, those I denoted with a plus give feelings of freedom, of motivation, of happiness, of meaning, and those denoted with a negative often lead to sadness, sad thoughts, low motivation, depression, lack of fulfillment, lack of meaning. And so how do you choose which way you should think? I can think of two ways you can decide this. One way is just picking which mentality you agree with most. Do you think that there's a freedom to not knowing your purpose? Do you think that you can try and search out your purpose and that would be fulfilling to you? Or do you generally think that it's worse to try and to find your own purpose, because that's possibly inhibiting in the long run if it's going to be the wrong thing to do, but you don't know? If you don't think that there's a point in searching for a purpose, if you don't know indefinitely what it is, it depends on your mentality, which of these you most agree with. And it also depends on whether you like thinking positively or negatively, almost as if it's a sociological analysis, where you kind of fit into these categories of, depending on your mentality, you fit into these categories of whether you're going to be thinking positively or thinking negatively. If you're those denoted with a plus, you'll generally be thinking positively. So if you like thinking positively, which most people do, but you'll be inclined to pick these. If you like thinking negatively, you might be inclined to pick the others. If you're a cynic, or you practice cynicism, you might pick those. Another thing is, you look to what is significant to you, what's important to you. Another way of thinking of this diagram: if you have a religion that is specific, and whether it's altruistic or self-centered religion, whatever it is in any way, and this isn't limited to religion, but to any idealism, any belief system. Religions and belief systems, idealisms, they still apply to the I don't know, I'm not sure. They still definitely apply, even if you pick a religion and that's what you've still chosen from that basic slate of I don't know, I'm not sure. Basically, I'm not sure this is true because there is no definitive proof that's going to be with me in every moment of my life. There's no definitive proof that will follow me then. You're still in that category, and you still have to apply to this branch your religion or your belief system or your idealism. So generally these might fall into some aspect, and it's all describing the relationship of types of thinking about purpose with happiness and depression. Often with goals and purpose and meaning, it's generally better to be happy. Happiness is a very, very powerful emotion. It's yes, it is. It is involved in a chemical process, but I don't think that means it's any less special or important, even if it's completely explained. Just like rainbows, they're completely explained in a physical process, but that doesn't make them any less special or any less, aesthetically beautiful. Diagrams like this don't take away the natural beauty or natural deep found meaning or purpose or inherent goodness you might find in something. They don't detract from that. So this is just me organizing some thoughts about happiness, and based on the first part of my lecture, I do believe that if you choose to think intrinsically and base your happiness off of intrinsic things, then you have a larger degree of freedom. You can choose to be happy purely by drawing upon those thoughts. Doesn't make it easy, but you can. It becomes a choice. In that sense, happiness becomes a choice for you. Not an easy process, but it does become an applicable choice. Personally, I would probably fall into the method of thinking where I'm not sure as to my purpose, but I think it's a beautiful thing that I can choose what's significant to me to define my purpose, and that I can search for meaning and search for purpose, never actually knowing it. Almost with the illusion of a possibility of knowing it. I think that some ways I can personify myself that will add to my happiness and to my search of meaning, of purpose. I like to be eclectic and open-minded. I like to think romantically. I like to be happy, choose the happiness, think intrinsically, base my happiness off of intrinsic motivations, intrinsic fortunes. I like to think progressively and act progressively, see positive change and try and inspire positive change. I like to be loving and caring, and I like to be altruistic. I like believing that altruism is a positive thing that will help my life and will help society in a progressive way. So these are my collective thoughts about happiness. Thanks if you actually listened to everything.